All right, welcome back, everyone, to the music conversation. Tuesday night show. My next guest, I reached out to him, asked him if he'd be interested in, and he said he was a little unsure whether he'd be a good guest, but I attempted in my half-assed way to reassure him that that shit don't matter. Nobody watches my channel anyway. So, without further ado, my man, Remy Q Studios. How you doing, man?
What's going on, man? Thanks a lot for having me on.
Life is full of uncertainties. You just got to go with it.
Hey, it's funny. Kyle was having one of his, 1 o'clock in the morning rants one time, and I hopped on there and we chatted up on indie books, which I am certainly not going to be the guy that would typically do that. And I just so happens I had a huge stack and we went through it. And I told him, I was like, well, you know what? It's going to be deleted in a couple hours anyway. So nobody will ever believe you. And for the people that are here, there you go.
All right. Well, you had mentioned that musically you didn't really have like a knowledge per se.
Yeah, I'm just not well versed, I guess, in the intricacies of music. That'd probably be the best way to put it. I mean, as far as I like music. I've been to, I don't even know how many concerts, hundreds. I've been to lots of concerts. But it's such a wide variety. I was a big prize whore from a radio station in Virginia for the better part of a decade, and I think just about every weekend I was going to a concert at some point. It was wild. So I have seen a wide variety of folks, but yeah, when it comes down to the details of all the members and their stories and everything, I don't have a huge wealth of knowledge for that, but
right. Well, I guess that's not really neither here nor there. It's kind of what we were talking backstage. It's kind of what interests you. It doesn't.
Absolutely, yeah.
Certain aspects interest certain people a different way.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we'll go into my leadoff question, which is, do you have or what are some of the records or some of the music that you have come across in your life that really tricks your trigger?
I guess like big interests of mine as far as the what's going on, Nick? As musically, I was an 80s baby, and when I was a kid, I thought Michael Jackson was the greatest thing that ever happened to the world. I really couldn't go wrong with that. I would bust out my mom's records a lot though. Sugar Hill Gang, Queen, a lot of the old stuff. I was really big into Bill Withers. Just all kinds of old records that I would play a lot. And I don't really know if that kind of shaped the a certain path of musically that I enjoyed, but I guess it made me pretty well rounded because I do like everything. There's a lot of folks that are like, oh, I'll never touch country or I'll never touch techno or something. You know what I mean? I can tell you at some point I was into it. So
yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I was. For instance, like there were several years where the big thing on the weekends was skating, like at the roller rink. So all that like jive music where it was like George Clinton and like those types of like heavy beats that like people would go out to the skating rink with. It's crazy. Like, yeah, nobody can imagine my big ass being there now, but yeah, that was my deal. That was my jam for a while. Was the skating rink, and that was the music at the time that I was getting down to for sure. So
Right.
Yeah, I think everybody kind of gets locked into certain eras that they're into. There's like that sweet pocket that everybody's into, where even if you like one thing or another, you're still kind of drawn to that. So, that was my thing.
Yeah, that's. I never really thought of it that way. That I guess in music there is a sweet spot for everybody, just like comics or even deeper in comics grades, because I know a lot of people like certain grades.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely for me, I've fallen into that niche of early 70s rock.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's especially stuff that nobody's ever heard of before, but it still kicks ass.
Yeah, so I think back on like my transition from cassette tapes into CDs. My first CD was Bush, 16 Stone.
Nice.
And I thought that was the best. Bush, like, for me, was, I guess, like that band where I was like, oh man, this is amazing. And then, that led into like Silverchair and, kind of like that 90s, like alternative music that, I don't know. I kind of got linked into that pretty quickly. And that was definitely
right.
For the time, at least that was a big part of my life. So, the same thing with hip hop, though. You know what I mean? Like around that time, you had the whole like East Coast, West Coast hip hop beef, which I didn't really care about. Biggie, Tupac, I loved them all. I had no issues with that. The Chronic, I thought was fantastic.
Oh my God, yeah.
Chronic 2 came out the year right before I graduated, and it just, I thought that was the best thing that people had to offer. And right around that time, Eminem was coming out, and it was like, as far as like rap and hip hop and everything, that kind of like took over that, and then it just evolves.
Right.
I remember waiting for like MTV. Trying to think. I remember calling my buddy up and I was like, hey, I just saw a guy. I saw a music video. You have to see this, right? It was Busta Rhymes. And I was like, listen, you gotta listen to Busta Rhymes. And I didn't know the name of the song. I knew what he looked like, and I heard that one time. And literally he came over, we watched all day long. And at the end of the day, they played Busta Rhymes. It was Woo-Ha. And I freaked out. I was like, this is the guy. And it was like a fast rap. I hadn't heard anything like that before. And so it was like all of a sudden I was like, well, shoot, this is my guy. So I tried to get all the Busta Rhymes stuff. I called up MTV and like tried to win a pair of his pants from a music video before, like all kinds of stuff. Like it was wild, kind of that whole thing. But yeah, like I said, I mean, as far as music, I touch a little bit of everything. It's, Nirvana, even like I said, even country music, Alan Jackson, George Strait, there's a little bit of everything that at some point I was like, yeah, I can definitely, if I hear it, I'm like, oh, that's it right there. And so it's crazy because it's not like there's a particular song. It literally could be any song, and I'll claim it to be my song, and it may be hundreds of songs. Who knows? So that's why I said I don't know if I could really pinpoint one thing or another. It's weird.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I grew up. I've said this before on the show. I grew up listening to a lot of country because it's what my parents were listening to. It was either that or we had a local radio station. My dad always had it playing in the morning before school called 12:30 a.m. Z Gold. So I got all my. That's probably where my love for a lot of the older stuff comes from, particularly like CCR and Three Dog Night, stuff like that. But yeah, I guess I kind of had a similar journey. Like the grunge era hit me when I was 12, 13 years old. And then I moved into rap and following Biggie and Tupac. I was following what everybody else was doing.
Yeah.
Was listening to.
Yeah, I really lucked out. I mean, I I grew up in Virginia. It was Fredericksburg, Virginia. It was about a half hour south of DC and a half hour north of Richmond, and both were like big cities where they would
Okay.
have concerts all the time. And I mean, it's the first concert I went to. I was a kid, actually, I was a little kid, but the first concert I went to was with Willie Nelson. And I actually
Nice.
touched his hand. He actually reached out in the crowd and he was shaking people's hand. I touched his hand. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. I had no
That's
clue
awesome.
who Willie Nelson was. Looking back on it now, though, I'm like, Willie Nelson. My kids don't know who that is. Like, it's like, well, I tried to explain it to them, but yeah, that was my first like concert experience was Willie Nelson, and he reached out and touched my hand. I thought that was the coolest thing in the world, just because he was on stage. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you, he puts on a heck of a show. It's I think everybody talks about like that. There's like a handful of shows where it's like, oh yeah, I went to see Metallica one time, and it just blew up. I mean, it was crazy, and it's like, there's I've seen a ton of shows and concerts, and yeah, it's neat to kind of pick out some of those favorites. So,
I guess going into that, what talking about concerts, do you have, other than the Willie Nelson experience, do you have any favorite, like top 5 of all those concerts that you really, really loved?
Yeah. So one of the really good ones that I went to, it was Virgin Mobile Fest. And I want to say that was in DC, and the headliner there was Red Hot Chili Peppers. Nice. And that was amazing. And they actually had a ton of bands there, but I mean, Red Hot Chili Peppers was what everybody went there for. And that was an amazing crowd. I think the crowd kind of plays into it too, and the venue. I've gone to some things where it was at like indoors, kind of smaller situations, and then sometimes just great big crowds. I mean, sometimes it's like fair concerts, like I remember going to a fair and seeing Dwight Yoakam before, and when they did Guitars and Cadillacs, the song from T2, that's what I remember from T2. I was like, this is it. Like, I wore a cowboy hat. I never wore a cowboy hat. I dressed up for the occasion. Like, I went out with some buddies. We had some drinks beforehand. It's amazing. But it's like the crowd kind of plays into that too. But yeah, Red Hot Chili Peppers was really good. I remember going to a Black Eyed Peas show that was phenomenal. Ironically, and everybody will hate me for this, but I went to a Nickelback show before. Phenomenal. I won tickets to just weird. I mean, it was like weird events, but I always made sure that I went because I wasn't going to let them go to waste. But yeah, Nickelback, put that in the book. Puts on a hell of a show for all the naysayers out there. Hell of a show. They actually stopped mid-concert. They ordered 100 Jaeger bombs and gave it to the front row. And just started talking just whatever. It was like they were talking to the crowd. They had pyrotechnics. Pyrotechnics were very, I'm not going to say it was Metallica level, it was very similar. I don't know. I was blown away. Maybe it's because my expectation was so low going into the concert.
Right.
I mean, you see, it's like Guardians of the Galaxy. I remember watching that. It's like, I don't know what to expect. Now I got done with it. I was like, man, this is an amazing movie. That was definitely one that surprised me. But yeah, those are a few of them. I think the worst one that I went to in DC, they actually took over it was next to I think it was like the Treasury building or something. They took over this whole alley, and a bunch of bands went up there, and Cake went up there.
Nice.
Cake was real big at the time, and they actually left midway through. And I remember thinking, this is awful. Like, it was so bad. And the lead singer got up there, and they played a couple of their bigger hits, and then they started playing, I guess, some newer stuff that people didn't know. And I remember he was yelling at the crowd. He said, "Don't smile at me, asshole, sing," right? And I was like, well, no, not to me, but I was like, nobody knows this song. Like, I remember thinking, don't yell at the guy. And they finished up that particular song. He dropped the mic, and they left. They walked off stage, and then somebody came out and was like, "No, if you're not nice to the bands, this is what happens." And I just remember I was like shocked. Like, that was the first time I ever had somebody leave the show where they didn't finish out the set. It was kind of wild, but it was entertaining while they were there. So
right.
Um,
I don't think that's an experience I've ever had either.
yeah. I saw Blue Oyster Cult one time. They were really good. It was obviously way after
Yeah.
they were big, but I was a big Blue Oyster Cult fan, and being able to experience that, that was a big one for me. That was kind of like a check off the list. I was like really excited for that.
Their first record's in my top 5 records of all time. Yeah. Love it.
But yeah, like I said, it's I don't know, it's a weird mix.
Right. I'm trying to think. I guess are there any bands specifically that you would? Let me rephrase that. Is there anybody that you haven't seen that you would like to?
Just all time, like dead or alive.
Yeah, go for it.
Nirvana. I jumped on a Nirvana really late, and again, unfortunately, it was a little too late to be able to experience that. There was a couple instances where I had the opportunity to see Marilyn Manson in concert before, and I didn't get the okay from the parents for that one, but I remember thinking back as a kid, that would have been a nice one to go to. My mom didn't have a problem with the music; she just didn't want to let me go to the concert with the people that were going there. I'm trying to think of who else. I mean, really, like all time, again, dead or alive, Johnny Cash. I would have loved to see Johnny Cash. Elvis would have been, like big entertainers like that. Or like I said, Michael Jackson. I mean, there's something about like the big show where, again, when you have folks that are like there, everybody's getting into it. I think like live concert wise, that's really what makes a difference. Ironically, I don't like listening to live music on the radio though. I can't explain that, but like if you like if I have a choice between like the live version or the studio version, I'll go to the studio version every time. But for whatever reason, like when you're there and you get to, again, when you're a part of the crowd, you feel that's crazy.
Yeah. In a way, I can agree because there was a period of time where I really hated. I don't want to say hate. I didn't like live albums.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't like them. And then a friend of mine made me realize live is the truest.
Oh yeah,
form, of the music. So,
Yeah. Dave Matthews would be another one. They have a big hippie fest in Virginia Beach, or at least they were like every year. That was one that I missed out on. I had a bunch of buddies who would always go out there, and I for whatever reason, I would never make it to that one. So, that would be another one I'd like to experience.
That guy right there loves Dave Matthews. He's seen him multiple times. I'm trying to think of some of the other questions.
Yeah, it looks like you got a couple of Dave Matthews fans out there.
Yeah.
Roscoe as well.
I'll admit, I've never seen them in concert, but
yeah,
I've heard they put on a hell of a show.
Yeah, that's exactly what I had heard as well. That's why I said that's one that I think I definitely could have gotten down to. Queen would be another one. Love to see Queen.
Oh yeah. I wish because he is my favorite singer, not frontman, favorite singer. I wish I would have been able to see them with Paul Rogers from Bad Company, because I really dig his vocals, the way he sings, the bluesy and all that stuff. But what was the one we were talking? Or chatting it up. I think it was Jukebox. Do you recall any songs? I guess it would only apply if you actually played the jukebox if you went out. But do you have any like jukebox favorites?
Yeah, All No by Nappy Roots. So a lot of people, I don't think I've ever talked about this, but I love to shoot pool. Billiards, like it's my jam. Angel and I did that for years. And like clockwork, when we go out to shoot pool, if the jukebox has All No on it, I have to, I don't know why, but like that gets me hyped. Like it elevates my level of skill all of a sudden. I can't explain it.
Right.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb. But like I said, like clockwork. That's the only time I can think of where I would actually play a jukebox. But yeah, if I'm at a bar shooting pool, Nappy Roots, I'll put that one in instantly, and it's like all of a sudden I'm hitting everything on the table. It's unbelievable. So yeah, I can't think of another time. I mean, jukebox is kind of a weird one because I think, I mean, now, well, like that would have to be like a bar setting, and yeah, I don't know if I really like pick out something specifically for the group. I don't know if I'd be that bold for it, but yeah, definitely that song.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of a thing where when bars started installing those digital jukeboxes.
Now you can like do it from your phone. I think it's like Wi-Fi now. Like you just pull up the app and play it. It's weird.
The jukebox done it does now. See, look.
Absolutely. But no, I mean that's yeah, I think like I said, kind of a bar setting, that would be the only one that I can think of. Trying to recall like a lodge thing, because I used to go to like the Moose Lodge with my mom, and they had a jukebox, and we would play all kinds of stuff. But again, it was just such a mix. I mean, it was like whatever the group was feeling for the time.
Right. I was just thinking about the diner jukeboxes that they used to have.
Oh yeah. The little one. I know what you're talking about.
I was. They remodeled the local restaurant that's been open for 100 years. About 10 years ago, they remodeled it, and they took those out. And the first time I was in there after that, I was like, where did all jukeboxes go? I was so pissed.
So what would you hit up on the jukebox? What would be your go-to on there?
My go-to.
Because they don't have everything. That's the thing, is it's not like, that's not an easy one where it's like you could have a song, you know what I mean? But finding it on a jukebox, there's no guarantee there. Now there is. I mean, now the digital, you kind of like scroll through them, and they have a little bit of everything, or hell, it'll like download it right there. But I'm thinking old school. You're looking at the list there.
Probably, if there's any Rush on there,
all right,
I'm gonna play it.
All right.
I don't care if it's. I think I'm going bald. I'm gonna play it.
I got you. No, I got you. See, that gets me hyped for video games. That's my video game channel.
Any Metallica. They used to always play. I know the one bar that I used to frequent when I was younger, before the digital jukeboxes, they had the whole Black album was on there.
Oh wow, okay.
And so I would always play A Wolf and Man.
That's pretty impressive too, because I usually they just had like 4 songs. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if it was from if you liked the band, they would have A and B and then C and D, and then that was it. So yeah, if they were rocking the whole thing, that's awesome.
Yeah, and that was a big jukebox too.
Mm,
So they'd had full length albums and everything in it.
that's awesome.
But yeah, the Black Album was one of them. Jim Croce's always a good time. I always played Rapid Roy because I have 2 lyrics as tattoos from
there
that
you
song.
Go. Yeah.
So, but I always like to play Rapid Roy because it's a fun song. But
Absolutely. Nick says The Doors and Queen. Yep.
absolutely.
Yep.
Hey, the chat can ask questions too. I've seen it happen before.
Yeah. Yeah. Big Queen fan. And even some of the more obscure I'm in love with my car deals, I will get down to that as well.
Yes.
Being a big
That's
car
a great
guy,
song.
that was definitely a good anthem for me. And it's not one that you hear on the regular. So
right. Well, and it's also not a Freddie Mercury vocal either.
Yeah, I know.
So that's what I remember the first time I heard that. I was like, what the hell?
Hmm.
Is that the drummer?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I found a live video and I'm like, oh my God, it is.
Yep.
That's awesome. So do you have a favorite Queen album?
I mean, should I say? So the album that I got in trouble for destroying was Bohemian Rhapsody.
Okay.
Flat out. Mom had a perfect copy. I don't even know what it would be worth today, but guess what? I've played the heck out of that thing. I know when that song comes through and they play the gong at the end, it would skip, and I got in trouble big time for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. I guess that's why we can't have nice things, because of me. But I can play the 15-minute long Rapper's Delight and not have an issue with that. But Queen, yeah, at the end, Anyway the Wind Blows, gong, and we didn't have the gong. It just would skip at that one last part. And oh man, I remember thinking in my head, I was like, is there a way to repair this? Like if I could get a pristine copy, I'd send it to my mom as a gift to tell her I'm sorry, because I got in trouble for that one.
Without paying an inordinate amount of money, you might be able to find a brand new copy.
No. That would work. That would work. For her, that would work. Like I said, I think the gesture alone, yeah. Honestly, you know what, though? It's been so long now, she probably wouldn't even remember.
Right.
Look what I got you. Why
What are you talking about?
Don't we have one of these somewhere? Yeah, I used to love digging through the records, though. I was always a sucker for them.
Nick throwing jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's your favorite place to listen to music? Car, shower, or during outdoor activities? Car, for sure.
Nice.
Yep.
That seems to be where I always end up listening to it the most anymore. When I was single, I had it all playing all over my apartment.
Oh, yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah, I'm a big car music person. I'm also a fan of CDs, especially mixed CDs that don't have anything on the label. Nothing gets me fired up like that. Just a random jukebox on wheels. You put that thing in there, we have no clue what we're gonna get. It's digital underground, and then boom, all of a sudden it's something else. Like, I love that. And so yeah, who knows what you're gonna find on there.
We're gonna change gears now.
Yeah, that's kind of what you would get. Yeah, if somebody's going on a road trip with me, that's what you'll find is something so weird, some weird mix that you're like, I forgot all about that. And then it takes you right back to there, and then there's no rhyme or reason. Like that's why I love a blank CD. Like if I find a blank CD, I'm like, dude, I gotta have this because I just want to know what that person was doing, and I like it even more if it's mixed. So
I never had the balls to not write on a CD.
Oh,
I always had to put something on it.
So in all honesty, like eventually you kind of something has a nick on it. You know what I mean? You can identify. You're like, oh yeah, I remember this one.
Yeah.
I know what this one has on. But I mean, again, that was I remember getting really hyped for that, and especially if I found one that somebody didn't want. Yes, please give that to me because I'm so interested to see what you have on here.
Yeah, I want to know what's on here.
Yep.
Mixed CDs and mixed tapes. Now, I know I did, and I know other people have, but did you record stuff off of the radio?
Oh gosh, yes. And I would try to eliminate the commercials. You know what I mean? Like I would try to like time it right. No.
I gotta start all over again.
I also got fancy at one point, and because I remember I got it from a pawn shop, and it had 2 cassette players or 2 tape things there with the record player on top. And eventually I was able to like navigate it where I could record records as well. And so I was able to do that for a little bit. But yeah, 100%. I would record stuff off the radio, and yeah, it was always a mess. Like you can never get that just right. No. I remember a couple radio stations that when they would launch, and it was, I mean, I want to say it was like late 90s, but there was a couple in my area that would launch, and they would always do 24/7 music for like a month. And that was their thing. Oh, wow. Is they're like, we're the new station. We're going to play. So, I mean, if it was a good genre that you were into, you know, I mean, it was pretty sweet because you would just get nothing but music. And then every now and then they would chime in for like, you know, promoting the station, but no commercials. It was like, man, this is amazing. But yeah, 100%. I recorded that. And I did both. I would have the double aux cable. And then sometimes I would actually record next to the speaker. Depending on how I was going to do it, because I know at one point I didn't have any way to record, but I had like a karaoke machine, and I took damn microphone to the speaker as close as you get it without it, you know, getting the reverb, and recording it that way. Yeah, it was awful. It never was good. You could never get a good copy. It's like, man, I wanted to get Magic Carpet Ride, but now I have half of it and the other half of like nothing, or I've got somebody coming into the room, you know, or you got background noise. Like,
that was the worst.
Car going by.
I'm recording.
Yeah. That was the best. Those are the struggles that kids nowadays don't get. You know, like I said, I waited all day to watch Busta Rhymes on MTV. My son will never experience that. Neither one of them will. No clue.
Nowadays, it's sitting at home recording, and you're somewhere else.
Yeah. Hey, just pull it up. You don't even need to type anymore. You're just talking to your phone. Play this song, and it plays the song. I had to wait all day. Like I made lunch. You know what I mean? Like we sat around the TV just waiting, trying to find this one thing. It's crazy.
I guess this next question is kind of inspired by John's comments with kids. Do you have any movie soundtracks that are your favorites?
Okay, just that are my favorites.
Yeah.
Okay. I was trying to think of movie soundtracks that I actually own because I do have a few. So 2 off the rip. I'll go for just plain score for T2. I got down to that like crazy. Mortal Kombat is amazing just for the one song. And Boogie Nights. I'll jam out the Boogie Nights all day long. All of those were jams to me. Like that was a hit after hit on Boogie Nights. So yes, those would be my movie go-tos, I guess.
Boogie Nights is the soundtrack definitely complements the movie. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that they talk about it within the movie is even better.
Well, yeah, and it's like one of those movies where it kind of you know what I mean? Like it's the 70s and then it like moves into the 80s a little bit.
Right.
You get a good mix in there. And yeah, that I don't know. You can't really I don't think you can go wrong with that one.
No. I can't really think of any more questions.
Random mix CDs were amazing. Yes, they were.
Yes.
And now I'm a sucker for XM in case anybody's wondering. So
there you go. Satellite was something that I had considered. Mm-hmm. I even contemplated. I don't know. I don't think they still do it anymore, but they used to have that unit where you could take it out of your car and take it into your home.
And like take it with you. Yeah.
Right. I considered doing that. And then I found out how much the unit was, and I was like, oh, not doing that. Because that was like 15 years ago.
I think I didn't know anything. Well, I knew about it, but I hadn't ever experienced it where I was like, oh yeah, we need to have this. And I want to say, I don't think it was last year. It might have been 2 years ago. But we had purchased a car that had it, and then I was like, oh well, shoot, we got to get this. And so yeah, sure enough, Angel hooked me up and got everything set up with that. And now I'm spoiled with it because I'll start at channel, like the numbers are all the decades it starts out, so I can start at 7, you know what I mean, and just move it up the dial. And then as you start getting through, you know, then it'll hit certain genres if you want, you know, like classic rock or hip hop or something. Those are going to be, you know, further along. But yeah, it's like 7, 8, 9, and then 10. You've got all the decades going right in a row. And so I'll browse, and all of a sudden something will come on, and I'm like, yes, that's the one right there. And I never would have thought to play it, but that's the one.
Right.
I had no idea I needed Eddie Money in my life right now, but I do, because he does have Two Tickets to Paradise, and I'm going there in my car as we speak.
My wife had it with her vehicle when she bought it, and it was the 3-month deal and stuff like that. And once it was up, I said, well, what are you going to do? Are you going to keep it? She says, no, I looked into it. I'm not doing
it. See, they wrote me right in.
I said, okay.
You got me. The free trial got me.
her reasoning was because there's so many other mediums you can link your phone up to your vehicle and play Amazon or Pandora. I know Jim Boatwright, he uses Pandora a lot. And I had a Pandora account until we had our conversation. It had been a couple of years since I used it, and I forgot how good Pandora music was.
Yeah.
And I think it's improved since then too.
That leads right back into the technology. It's just like the jukebox, like we were talking about, the digital jukebox, and
right.
or just anything like we were saying, you know, waiting for a song to come on. I mean, I can Bluetooth my phone, and then boom, I have that song. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, there's something about hitting up that 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s where I'll go right through, and then who knows what is it's gonna be on that. I've had a couple Instagram posts where I was like, all right, y'all, this is what came on. You know what I mean? Like, you had Vanilla Ice, and then right afterwards you had this. Can you believe it? Like, like how did they jump from here to here? But it's still amazing.
Right.
It's still amazing. Gets me every time. Well, there you go. Yeah.
See, so John's an old schooler.
Yeah.
I work with a guy that has had. He got some kind of promotional thing where it's like next to nothing a month for him, but he's had it for like over 15 years or whenever when the two of them were still separate.
Yeah. And, he got it at the ground level. That's what that is. He got grandfathered into that sweet price.
And And I said, the only problem is, dude, you ever drop that shit, that's gone.
Yeah.
He says, oh, I know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, in cars now, a lot of them have the capabilities for like the HD stations and stuff. And I don't really understand how that works.
Right.
'Cause I know you can listen to just the radio, and then they have like, it's the same channel, but it's like the HD version and it's different songs. I don't know how that works, but again, I don't know. I usually will hit up that XM and just let it roll. So,
Right. Yeah, that's not, I didn't even know they had HD.
yeah, certain.
didn't
Like I
know
said,
that.
I think certain cities will have it.
Okay.
You know, they may have like 4 or 5 channels that are HD, and like I know in our car, if I'm switching through there's an FM channel that has it, it'll like indicate that, and then you can click it and it like switches over, and it's different music. Well, I mean, it's the same music, but it's like different songs, so it's not like it's better or anything. It's not like HD like you would think an HD movie is, but again, I don't know how it works, but somehow they have another layer of radio station hidden in there. And I don't really care for that. It doesn't make a big difference to me. So
Right. That's kind of the way I felt with they did it with TV, where they had the regular standard definition, and then they had HD, and I'm like,
oh yeah, I know exactly
don't,
what, yeah. You watch the
what?
game and it was like regular, or you could switch over to HD. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it never, whatever. now it's all that way. So maybe that's what they're doing with the satellite, the radio. Who knows?
Yeah.
We were talking about you earlier, John. Now, I guess we've gone through all the questions that I had, other than my closing questionnaire. Unless you had anything else that you wanted to talk about, the floor, like I said, the floor is yours. If there's anything you wanted to throw out there,
I don't know. I'm just stuck on music. I'm trying to think of random music stuff, like a story. Yeah, I don't know. I shook Willie Nelson's hand. I met Eddie Vedder one time, and I talked to a lot of people on the radio from the music industry, just like random folks that like George Clinton, just briefly on radio. So
nice.
a lot of radio stuff. Like I said, there was a good decade in there where my particular job didn't require me to do a lot of work, and so we listened to the radio, we called into the radio, we won a lot of stuff, and talked to a lot of people. So
yeah,
no, that's it. That's it. If there's anything else, if anybody else has anything, somebody ask me something about Nelly if you want, just because.
I'm live. Well, I guess we'll go into the. Where'd it go? I gotta find it. I'm live, Lila. Okay. All right. I'll see you in a little bit. Okay. That was my daughter. Anyway, what is your favorite word?
My favorite word. Wow.
That's a good one. I like it. What is your least favorite word?
No.
That seems to be a common one.
Is it? I don't know. Now I feel like I'm arguing with my son. Like all of a sudden, this I hear a wow and I'm like, yes, good dad moment. I hear no and I'm like, all right, something's wrong here. What's up? What's going on here?
What turns you on? What excites you?
Ooh. Uh, I get excited at like a good lazy day. I know that's kind of a weird, but like for me, sitting back and just relaxing, that's the best. I get excited for that. Like if I know a day's coming up, like, oh, this weekend I got nothing on the schedule, perfect. Like, I just want to
Right.
be I just want to be lazy and veg out for a little bit, and that would excite me. Absolutely.
Right. I tend to do that more than I should, but it's always unscheduled. What turns you off?
The opposite, running around all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah. I'm not a
I
big
like
fan
to
of
stay
that either.
busy, but yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just the pace, trying to get the pace down.
Right. Right. It doesn't seem to ever work the way you want it to, right?
Yeah.
What sound or noise do you love?
Ooh. Children laughing.
That's mine as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Children singing. That's a big one. I don't do that. That creeps me out. Like if my kids are singing, I'm like, you stop that. I've seen too many horror movies. I know how this is going to end. Stop. That creeps me out. Kids singing. Like Christmas time comes around, you hear that on the radio. I'm like, nope, switch it right now. I'd
Get
rather
it
hang
out
out
of
in a
here.
room full of ventriloquist dolls around just staring at me, watching me with their eyes, and children singing. There's something bothers me about that. I don't know.
What is your favorite curse word?
Little mild, but damn. Yeah, yeah. I'll probably say that more than anything else. It's universal too,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
more widely acceptable. Yeah, like I said, it's probably not what people are looking for, but yeah, damn.
right.
I'll
It's
throw out an old damn, or I'll be like damn, or like if I stub my toe or something, usually it's a damn or a damn it. Or, I mean,
right.
that would be the way that I would go with it. Yeah,
It's a lot easier. It's a lot softer.
yeah. That's what I'm.
Yeah.
Maybe with age, after now I'm married, I've got 2 kids. Maybe that's what I've turned into. But yeah, damn, that would definitely be the preferred go to.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Hmm. Um, I think something in the automotive field. Um, I've always had a love for cars and just working on them, painting something like that. I would love to get into that. Some sort of like car customization or something, like that. That's always been something I've been interested in. So
Nice. What
I like hot
profession would
rods. I
you?
like old
Oh,
cars. You know
nice,
what I mean?
nice. What profession would you not like to attempt?
Exterminator.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't have a
agree with
problem with bugs, but I don't know. I just feel like that would. I'd be done with that after a day.
you. Yeah. And finally, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you enter the pearly gate?
Ooh, welcome.
All right. Well, Remy, I want to thank you for accepting the invitation
Oh
to
yeah,
come
man,
on.
this was awesome. Thank you. Yeah,
See, it turned out a lot better than you thought it would.
absolutely.
See? I
I
told
feel
you.
bad. I'm not a music expert. It's just funny. I guess I don't know. I love it, but yeah, I'm not a big expert on it. So
That's a deep question. Well, don't look at me. I didn't originally oppose it. That questionnaire is 70 years old. Um, well, I want to thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank
And
you
I
for
want to
having me
thank
on.
all these wonderful people for popping in and saying hello and a couple questions. Always a good time when people were interacting, especially with each other in the chat. And I guess Remy, I want to see if give you a chance to talk about anything you got coming up on your channel or anyone else's channel that you're going to be on.
Yeah, so I think Thursday we're gonna do a let's talk about it. Angel and I will be on. It should be at 7, and then we're headed out to C2E2 on Friday. And
Yeah.
so I don't know what we're gonna do from there. Actually, ironically, DJ's on here. I think he was gonna try to do a live stream Friday night.
Nice.
So we'll see. We'll see how that goes down. But yeah, definitely. I guess keep your eyes open. There's gonna be a lot of folks there. So.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're going to stream at some point. Somebody's going to have something going on. We don't have a solid plan. I said that I was going to try to do something at some point, but I know DJ said Friday is probably going to try to do something. So
nice. All right. Well, for me, I have another music conversation coming up on Friday with Puff Comics 1983. Good friend Sean. And then Saturday, I have Cover to Cover. We're covering the Cream's Disraeli Gears. It's an album I've really been wanting to do. And then after that, I think I'm taking a break for the holidays. So, Remy, I want to wish you a fantastic time at C2E2.
thank you, sir. Yeah.
I would love to go, but I'm not going anywhere near Chicago. That town scares the shit out of me.
Oh, trust me. That's instantly when I say where I'm going, they're like, oh, well, you better watch out. I'm like, oh.
I also want to wish anybody going to C2E2 a safe and awesome trip. And I guess in the meantime, get out there and listen to some music.